Good afternoon. From the KUOW newsroom, this is Seattle Now. It's a busy Monday in news. We've got a full show ahead. I'm your host, Paige Browning, with the roundup of today's top stories. It's Monday, October 6th. First up, vandalism in Olympia. A man's been arrested for breaking into the Washington state capitol and damaging state flags and statues. Scott Greenstone has the story.
Washington State Patrol says after 10 p.m. on Sunday night, an intruder with 2 hammers broke into the state legislative building where state lawmakers meet during session. Police say he tossed and set fire to state and county flags, knocked down a statue of Martin Luther King Jr., and tipped over the giant bronze bust of George Washington, leaving cracks and burn marks on the marble. The man also lit a fire in the state reception room, a particularly important space, Governor Bob Ferguson said on social media. He receives foreign dignitaries there. Troopers apprehended the man 10 minutes later when he exited and booked him into jail. Washington State Patrol says the attack was not politically motivated, but the result of a mental health crisis. Scott Greenstone, KUOW News.
Federal troops will not be entering Portland today. But the Trump administration is seeking to overturn a federal judge's ruling from Sunday that prohibits National Guard troops from entering that city. Today, Monday, Trump officials filed an emergency appeal with the Ninth Circuit. Oregon Governor Tina Kotek told NPR's All Things Considered that the president's effort to include the National Guard is an overreach of power.
The National Guard members in all of our states, Republican or Democratic states, are citizen soldiers who step away from their regular day jobs and away from their families to serve the country when they are called up. They should only be used in situations of real problems.
Trump has called Portland and other cities, quote, war-ravaged due to protests outside of federal immigration facilities. Kotek says that characterization is ludicrous. She says Portland police can handle the small protests outside the federal immigration building. It's now day 6 of the federal government shutdown. Here in Seattle and King County, officials announced a plan to help mothers, babies, and children when the shutdown causes their food benefits to run out. Ruby DeLuna has this story today.
The State Department of Health estimates it has enough funds to sustain the Women, Infant, and Children program for 2 weeks. The department says once the money runs out, it'll force a full closure, as DOH does not have the ability to continue running it. If the shutdown doesn't end before that time period, Seattle and King County will offer a one-time voucher to about 30,000 participants in King County. The vouchers can be redeemed for food staples and infant formula at Safeway stores. So far, DOH has advised WIC participants to continue using their benefits and accessing service until further notice. Ruby DeLuna, KUOW News.
In other shutdown news, some federal workers in Western Washington are still showing up to work on their own dime. Labor leaders say crews at the Puget Sound Naval Yard in Bremerton are clocking in without pay. Steve Miller is with the Machinists Union that represents employees at naval shipyards in the region, and he says some won't be able to keep up with their bills.
They're still working, but they're going to go into credit card debt. They're going to go into debt by not paying their bills. What does that mean? Our service is going to be shut down. Some of them are going to have to go to food banks while they are supporting this nation and this nation's mission. Is that right in any means?
U.S. Representative Emily Randall is leading an effort in Congress to change the situation. She's co-sponsoring a bipartisan bill that allows Navy shipyard workers to be paid during a government shutdown. Miller spoke at an event organized by Congressmember Randall. My, oh my. Baseball fans are riding high today. The Seattle Mariners gave their home crowd a show last night and beat the Detroit Tigers 3-2. That puts them at 1-1 in the American League Division Series versus the Tigers. All-star center fielder Julio Rodriguez helped make it happen towards the end of the game.
Line drive, down the line, that's a foul ball, and the Mariners take the lead. Julio Rodriguez has come up clutch yet again.
The M's now head to Detroit for Game 3 tomorrow in the best-of-5 series. In some other good news, Seattle has another Nobel Prize winner. Scientist Mary Brunko has won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for her work on how the body prevents autoimmune diseases. She'll share the prize with two colleagues in San Francisco and Japan. They uncovered a special T cell that keeps other immune cells in check and a key gene that helps control those cells. The Nobel Committee says the findings could open up new pathways to treat autoimmune diseases and cancer.
These two key discoveries indicated that the FOXP3 gene could be important for regulatory T cells.
Brunko is a senior program manager at Seattle's Institute for Systems Biology. Some major environment news today is hitting central Washington. For the first time, Washington state is halting water use from the Yakima basin. The reservoirs have run nearly dry after 3 years of drought. Starting today, water users such as tribal governments and farms will not be able to divert water from the Yakima basin. The state's ecology department says it's impacting about 1,500 water rights holders. 2 firefighters working on the Bear Gulch fire were arrested and held in immigration detention back in August. Now, Washington officials are working together on legislation to keep that from happening again. Northwest Public Broadcasting's Lauren Gallup has the story today.
Thurston County Commissioner Wayne Fournier called the arrests unacceptable.
It was dangerous to do, and it made things more dangerous when these firefighters were taken out of the equation.
One of the firefighters has been released, but according to the Seattle Times, the other man is still detained in Tacoma. Fournier introduced an ordinance in Thurston County. If adopted, it would require law enforcement to coordinate with incident commanders before pursuing any enforcement actions. Other counties are looking at doing something similar. U.S. Representative Emily Randall introduced a House bill to put in place similar protections nationwide. I'm Lauren Gallup reporting.
A few shorter notes before we sign off. New scrutiny is on Boeing. A pilots association in India wants all Boeing 787s grounded in India. They say all of them need inspecting after an emergency power system on a 787 deployed mid-flight unexpectedly over the weekend. That plane landed safely in England, but a similar system had deployed on an Air India flight that crashed in June, killing 260 people. There's a pasta salad recall in Washington. Kroger is recalling basil pesto bow tie salad and smoked mozzarella penne salad in 28 states, including Fred Meyer stores in Washington. They're concerned of a possible listeria contamination. And something brighter to end your night on. Tonight's the first of 3 chances this fall to see a supermoon. That's when the moon is full during the closest approach to the Earth in its monthly cycle. Tonight's is a harvest moon. Next time on Seattle Now, a new KUOW investigation finds city officials leased a hotel to shelter unhoused people only for the building to sit mostly empty.
So the lease for 2024 was $2.7 million for all 53 rooms. We can break that down even further and say taxpayers were paying a hefty $4,200 a month per empty room.
Hear that Tuesday morning. And that's all for today from the KUOW Newsroom in Seattle. Our producer is Brooklyn Jamerson Flowers, and I'm Paige Browning. Seattle Now and KUOW are members of the NPR network. Talk to you tomorrow.